Howdy ho there, neighbors, and happy Homebrew Wednesday. It's been a while. I've been pretty busy at work, pretty busy at home, of course, and the time just got away from me. So June's done, it's July now. So a couple things going on. One is a Pilsner tasting, which I have to look at the beers to get to it. This is one, it looks much clearer than this. There's a little bit of condensation on the glass. Nice and beautifully clear. So this was one I think I talked about in the last video, which was like a month ago, but this is the actual tasting. It's a little darker than I wanted. I was really going for something a lot lighter, a lot more yellow, and clearing was a little bit of a difficulty. I kind of got annoyed with it. I did the gelatin cannon, which worked well, but it didn't really clear the beer. And then I thought, well, let's see what the temperatures are on my keezer. And I poured out, a sample of the beer, really, and checked the temperature, and it was at like 40 something. So I went ahead and dropped it down. I put a calibration on it of -8 degrees. Basically drop it 8 more degrees, and it cleared up pretty nicely. So fair bit of floral hop aroma. That's really what I was going for. I kind of wish it was a little bit stronger, but I don't think I can get stronger without really dry hopping it. Taste-wise, the bitterness is pretty close to where I'm at. I could go probably a little bit more bitter on this, just because it is a Pilsner. It can be, more bold, more bitter, more intense than, say, a Helles or, a light lager or something like that. But it's just about there. In fact, if I sent this to judges, I'm going to send this to our BJCP group, some bottles of it. They may be pretty well okay with the bitterness level. I think I'm pretty close to in the range. And I'm kind of judging these on Bitburger, which I think is a little bit more bitter than what it's supposed to be for the style. Mind you, Bitburger's probably been around for a couple centuries, and BJCP has been around for 20 years, something like that. So, we'll see. But I'm pretty pleased with the flavor. Not really any fruitiness or anything or any yeast effects. This was pressure fermented. I had it under 15 psi for pretty much the entire fermentation until it wound down, and I think it started carbonating the beer as opposed to pressurizing. Still really good. Mouthfeel wise, not light, medium, maybe just a little lighter than medium. So I'm pleased with it. The other one is a cream ale. Get the condensation off the glass again. This one is not clear. I didn't use any gelatin. I did use Irish moss, but that's it. I went to no lengths to clear this because it's not a little bit of haze is okay in this style. It doesn't look as carbonated as the Pilsner did. When I first poured these, the Pilsner I had a 1/4 inch of head. This I had very little. It's hard to tell. There are some bubbles rising in it. It just seems lesser carbonated, which is weird because they're both connected to the same CO2 tank on the same regulator settings, so there shouldn't be any difference, but it just feels a little differently. I'm not sure where I got the recipe for this. I got this recipe, I made it up or something, and bought 33% of flaked maize, corn. So it's literally 1/3 corn, 2/3 Pilsner malt. And then I was on one of our malt infusers Zoom meetings where one of the local brewers here said, oh yeah, we use like 7% flaked maize or something like that, something fairly small. So I got a little concerned, but hey, it tastes good. I did have some mill issues when I did this, and I brewed this on a Friday, so no video or anything. Half an ounce of Magnum at 60 minutes, 6 pounds Pilsner, 3 pounds corn, half an ounce of Medusa at 15 and 5. I used Imperial's cable car yeast for this, which is the first time for me. I didn't pressurize it. I did keep it chilled, about 60-ish. I mean, that's a steam beer yeast, so it doesn't have to go down to like 50 or 40. So I was in probably the 60s most of the time. I expected an OG of 1047. I actually got a 1050. So for whatever reason, this one and the Pilsner both were more efficient than expected. And this one, I had mill issues. And one of these two, I missed my mash temperature. In fact, it would have had to have been this one, because if I missed it on the Pilsner, I did a protein rest on that. Actually, I had stuck sparge on that. So, ended up at 1007, and I added some oat cubes. I think I gave it 3 weeks in just a few oat cubes that I boiled. I was sort of going for something similar to the Carhartt New Holland oak-aged pale ale, which was, I thought, a great beer, a nice pale ale. The interwebs didn't like it as much, but it's the interwebs. It's not a New England IPA or a pastry stout or an imperial stout, so the interwebs don't like it. Anyway, do a little taste of this. Aroma-wise, bit of corn in it. And it's not overdone, but it's definitely present. This is a malty beer. There's not much hop aroma that I can pick out. Maybe a little bit of a spiciness. The Medusa hop is a new one to me, and I think it's a Neo-Mexicanus hop, so it's different. It's not as fruity as what we would expect. There's some like spice and herbalness to it, which is interesting. Now, I've obviously had a few pints of this before actually recording this. At times when this starts to warm up, there's some fruitiness that'll come out into it. It's sort of a tropical, but not a tropical that I can pick out a significant flavor in terms of what tropical fruit, but sort of a nice tropical fruitiness that comes out in it. So, it's a great beer. It's a easy drinking summer cream ale. Body-wise, it's actually there's a little bit more of a body to it than the Pilsner, which I was not going for. I was going for a light-bodied beer. But it's not too bad. Anyway, and other things going on, I bottled my wine, which I had no wine or no bottling wand to use. Well, I take that back. I had a bottling wand that I could use, but I didn't have enough tubing for it. So I thought, what the heck? I've got this beer gun, so I'll use the beer gun to bottle it, which worked out much better than I anticipated. So it was nice doing that. The capper I have sucks. It's a piece of shit. I think I'm going to just throw it away. Fortunately, I bitched about it on a club Facebook page, and somebody said, hey, next time you're bottling wine, let me know. I've got a better corker. So that was nice. And then also, I passed the BJCP tasting exam. Got an 81, which puts me in that range of I don't have to take this tasting exam again. Now, that does mean at some point I should probably take the written exam, because tasting exam with this score, I should be able to take the written exam and become BJCP National, which was never exactly the goal, but I'll take it. In my report, if it wasn't for the fucking blonde ale, our examiner put in a blonde ale, and that one really tripped me up, and it kind of tripped up even the graders, the three actual BJCP judges, national level judges that also took it, and they basically developed the key by taking the exam. Kind of a cool process, but that's also why it takes 6 months to grade. And I think it kind of tripped them up a little bit too. So, yeah, fucking blonde ales. And honestly, that's a style I don't drink. I've had a few, never really cared for them unless somebody fruits them or sours them or spices them or does something other than leave it a straight blonde ale. And then, so I do have to get 10 experience points in order to sit for the written exam, which I have a 1.5 points. So that might be a while. Anyway, happy Homebrew Wednesday. Cheers.